It was a beautiful morning in paradise, with a scenery of lotus flowers blooming in the pond, were all as white as pearls, and the golden pistils and stamens in their centers ceaselessly filled all the air with an inexpressible fragrance. Shortly, the Buddha was wandering alone on the brink of the lotus pond, and through an opening among the leaves which covered the face of water, suddenly beheld the sight below. His eyes fell on a man named Kandata, who was squirming with the other sinners in the bottom of hell. This Kandata was a great robber who had done many vicious things, such as murdering and setting fire to houses. But Buddha had degraded his one good action. Once in his way through a deep forest, he had noticed a little spider creeping along the side of the road. He immediately jumped and was about to trample it to death, when he suddenly thought of the life of the small creature Candida spared the spider's life. As he looked down into hell, the Buddha remembered how Candida had spared the spider's life. In return of that good deed, he thought of the possibility of delivering him out of the hell. Fortunately, as he looked around, he saw Spider of the Paradise spinning a beautiful silver thread in the lotus leaves. The Buddha quietly took up the spider's thread in his hand, and he let it go straight down to the bottom of hell far below, through the opening among the pearly white lotus flowers. On the floor of hell lies Candida, who had been struggling with the other sinners on the pool of blood. It was pitch black, and the still of the grave reigned everywhere. Due to the numerous churches of hell, sinners had lost the strength to cry aloud, and the only thing that could be heard now and then was their faint sighing. So great, Robert Candida, choking with blood, could do nothing but agonize in the pool like a dying frog. But this time came, on his way, when Candida by chance had looked up at the sky above the pool of blood. He saw a silver spider's thread slipping down towards him from the high, high heavens, glittering slightly in the silence of darkness. He was filled with joy, and the thought of escaping from the hell through climbing and clinging to this thread kept rushing into his mind. If all went well, he might even enter paradise and would never suffer in the pool of blood. He quickly grasped the threads tightly in his two hands and began to climb up with all his might, bearing in his mind experiences with such things. It was never that easy to escape from hell, for who knows, it takes many myriads of miles to reach paradise. After climbing for a while, he was finally exhausted and could not ascend any inch longer. He stopped to rest and looked far, far down below him, and was amazed to witness the success he had done. Suddenly, he noticed that below the thread, countless sinners were climbing eagerly after him, up and up, like a procession of ants. He was surprised and somehow felt terror, for the thread might break in mid-air due to the weight of those people. Meanwhile, hundreds to thousands of sinners were squirming out of the dark pool of blood and climbing with all their might. If Candida will not do something quickly, the thread was sure to break and fall. So he cried out and yelled at them, as he is the owner of the silver thread, and told them to get it down. Just at the moment, the spider's thread, which had shown no sign of breaking, suddenly broke with a snap at the point where Candida was hanging. Without even time to utter a cry, he shot down and fell headlong into the darkness, spinning swiftly like a top. Afterward, only the spider's thread of paradise, glittering and slending, hung short in the moonless and starless sky. Standing on the brink of the lotus pond of the paradise, the Buddha watched closely all that had happened. How Candida sank like a stone to the bottom of the pool of blood because of his cold heart that would have saved only his life. The Buddha began to walk again, with a sad expression in his face as the pearly white flowers were swaying at his feet.